So we continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, chapter 17. Would anyone like to say what we read yesterday? Yes? No?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Um, we read that how Shivji Maharaj was telling Pārvatī when Chitraketu ji already left and how he was so tolerant. And so later now Lord Shiva is continue to speak to Pārvatī ji, and he says that we want happiness and we don't want distress. But it's all bad in this material world. Even being happy is not that good because it keeps us here. So Prabhupada also explains that in dreams, sometimes we are sad or we are happy. But when we wake up, then we don't remember anything. Example, a flower garland. It is very beautiful, but one may mistake it for snake as he don't know. When he doesn't know that it's a flower garland, he may mistake it as a snake. And also, he says that for devotee, this world is very happy place by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only. And this is the position of a devotee. And he's happy in the dualities, and he does not, in those dualities, he does not impact him by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's always happy. And in night, it is a night dream. And in the day, we are there in a daydream. But as soon as we change the body, as soon as we wake up, it's all over. So in the same way, as soon as we change the body, we'll forget all. It's mind that is telling us all this to change the situation. Once we give up the body, it is all over. Then there is nothing that can impact us. And then Vasudev Bhakti, a devotee has a knowledge and he is detached from this material. And a devotee is simply takes up hearing and chanting, and that's the bhakti. And then he realizes the knowledge that he's the soul and not the body. And then he gets detached to the material world. And then Prabhupada quotes that when one engages in devotional service, he can realize the knowledge that he's the soul and not the body, and no need to separately endeavor for knowledge. When you do bhakti, it comes. And when we have to come to that understanding that Krishna is the cause of all the causes, and that is his, and we take his shelter. And one may understand that he is a soul, but then one has to also understand about Krishna. Only understanding that I am a soul is not enough. He also need to understand about Krishna, Par Brahma, and that is complete knowledge. And if we want to understand God, that is easy. But path of bhakti, when we hear from devotee, it becomes more easy. And then here also Lord Brahma says in Brahma Samhita how to understand Lord by devotees. He cannot be understood by Vedas. Although he is oldest, but he looks fresh and the youngest, Sachitananda Vigraha form, and only pure devotees can understand that. It is not easy to understand God only by mercy. It is not easy to understand God. Only by the mercy of the devotee we can understand Krishna. As a normal man, Lord Shiva takes our position, and he's a tattva in himself. And he's not a Vishnu tattva, nor a Jiva tattva. Still, he says he cannot understand Krishna. But he says that if one wants to understand Krishna, then he has to serve a devotee. And why we are attached to our own self? Because we are attached to Krishna. Everyone is dear to Krishna. And he does not distinguish. And he maintains all. He's the best friend of all living entity. And if we realize this, then we can become very, very peaceful. That is where we ended.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, of course, when we die, the soul continues. We are going to take up another body. And in another body, again, we will have a daydream and a night dream. Then, whatever we are so engrossed about, again, when we die and take up another body, everything is forgotten. So it's not that. So the soul is eternal. So we will continue taking new bodies in this world. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And for the devotee, this world, this is, Krishna says in this world is Dukhalayam Ashasvatam, temporary place full of misery. But the devotee, he does not feel the misery. Yeah. He doesn't feel the misery because he is engaged in Krishna's service, devotional service. Yeah. And of course, he wants to go back home, back to Godhead, the devotee. Okay. So going on, thank you so much for that. Thank you. Tasya chayam mahabhagash
तस्य चाहस्महाभागा
चित्रकेतु priyonuga
चित्रकेतुं प्रियोऽनुगः
sarvatra samadrikshanto
सर्वत्र समदृक्शान्तो
hi aham chaivaच्युत priyah
हि अहं च एव अच्युतप्रियः
tasmanna vishamya karya
तस्माच्च विस्मयकार्य
purusheshu mahatmasu
पुरुषेषु महात्मसु
mahapurusha bhakteshu
महापुरुषः भक्तेषु
shanteshu samadarshishu.
शान्तेषु समदर्शिषु.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This magnanimous Chitraketu is a dear devotee of the Lord. He is equal to all living entities and is free from attachment and hatred. Similarly, I am also very dear to Lord Narayan. Therefore, no one should be astonished to see the activities of the most exalted devotees of Narayan, for they are free from attachment and envy. They are always peaceful and they are equal to everyone. So Lord Shiva is speaking about the qualities of the devotee, the great quality of Chitraketu, not attached, no have any envy. And similarly, Lord Shiva is the same. He is also free from envy. He's not materially attached. He's attached to Lord Sankarshan. So he's saying they are peaceful, equal to everyone. It is said, Vaishnavanera Kriya Mudra Vigyeha Na Bhujhaya. One should not be astonished to see the activities of exalted, liberated Vaishnavas. As one should not be misled by the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one should also not be misled by the activities of his devotees. Both the Lord and his devotees are liberated. They are on the same platform. The only difference being that the Lord is the master and devotees are servants. So, qualitatively, they are one and the same. So, achintya bheda abheda. The Lord is always transcendental, never comes under the material modes, never takes a material body. So, similarly, the pure devotees, they are also liberated. They never think I'm the body. They have completely understood I'm spirit, soul, part and parcel of Krishna. I'm eternal servant of Krishna. And so they act in that mood. They're acting on the liberated platform. They know that I am the servant of Lord Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita 9:29, the Lord says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priya ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mai te teshu chapi aham. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. From this statement by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is clear that the devotees of the Lord are always extremely dear to him. In effect, Lord Shiva told Pārvatī. So here, Srila Prabhupada is quoting Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is saying, I'm equal. It's not that I'm partial. I'm equal. I'm Paramatma in the heart of the devotee. I'm also Paramatma in the heart of the non-devotee. I am giving air, sunlight, water, all the facilities to devotee, non-devotee. Krishna is equal. He's equal to everyone. But Krishna is saying that one who is a devotee, because he wants to spend more time with him, automatically I spend time with him. He wants to be my friend, then I'm his friend. So both Chitraketu, in effect, Lord Shiva told Parvati, both Chitraketu and I are always very dear to the Supreme Lord. In other words, both he and I are on the same level as servants of the Lord. So same means not that they merge together and become one person. No, same means the mood is the same. The goal is the same. That they love Krishna and they want to serve Krishna. And they both are dear to Krishna. In that way, it is the same, that the mood is the same. We are always friends, and sometimes we enjoy joking words between us. When Chitraketu loudly laughed at my behavior, he did so on friendly terms, and therefore there was no reason to curse him. Thus, Lord Shiva tried to convince his wife Pārvatī that her cursing of Chitraketu was not very sensible. So Lord Shiva is saying we are like friends, friends joke amongst each other, friends laugh at each other. So you shouldn't have cursed Chitraketu. Here's a difference between male and female that exists even in the higher status of life. In fact, even between Lord Shiva and his wife. Lord Shiva could understand Chitraketu very nicely, but Parvati could not. That's why even earlier we read that Lord Shiva just simply smiled because he knew what was Chitraketu's intention. He knew Chitraketu didn't mean any harm. He was just like, so that we as common people don't offend Lord Shiva. That's why he wanted to stop Lord Shiva. So thus, even in the higher statuses of life, there is a difference between the understanding of a male and that of a female. It may be clearly said that the understanding of a woman is always inferior to the understanding of a man. In the Western countries, there is now agitation to the effect that man and woman should be considered equal. From this verse, it appears that woman is always less intelligent than man. So here Srila Prabhupada is trying to say that we have different perceptions, man and woman. We look at the same thing, but we may understand it differently. As Lord Shiva and Pārvatī Devi, they understood the situation differently. It is clear that Chitraketu wanted to criticize the behavior of his friend, Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva was sitting with his wife on his lap. Then too, Lord Shiva wanted to criticize Chitraketu for externally posing as a great devotee, but being interested in enjoying with the Vidyadhari women. These were all friendly jokes. There was nothing serious for which Chitraketu should have been cursed by Parvati. Upon hearing the instructions of Lord Shiva, Parvati must have been very much ashamed for cursing Chitraketu to become a demon. Mother Parvati could not appreciate Chitraketu's position, and therefore she cursed him. But when she understood the instructions of Lord Shiva, she was ashamed. So Lord Shiva is trying to explain that Chitraketu and me, we are both servants of Krishna, and that we are on the same level. So we are joking with each other, hey, what you doing? Hey, what you doing? There was no need for you to get so angry. Is that okay?
So is he just like he's justifying, right? That
Huh? I'm sorry, your voice broke.
uh, Lord Shiva is justifying to Parvati ji, right?
He is, I wouldn't say justifying, he's explaining to her
Mm.
Chitraketu's position and Chitraketu's relationship with him is as like a friend. So he's explaining to Parvati what is
Okay.
Chitraketu's position, and he's explaining his own position, that they're all friends because they both are devotees of Krishna, of the Supreme Lord.
So like this means that he's also feeling sad that she cursed. She shouldn't have.
Yeah. He's telling her,
right?
yeah, you shouldn't have. That's right.
Mm.
He's telling her that you shouldn't have. That's why he's explaining to her.
So then this also means, no, like that how devotee para dukha dukhi, how devotee feels sad when someone is being cursed, though it has like though he knows that it is for his good, but still, right? Is it a compassion? No.
Well, in this case, I don't think it's
Mm.
the compassion. When we say Vaishnava is para dukha dukhi,
Mm.
when he's seeing the suffering people who are not connected to Krishna, he
Okay,
wants to connect people to Krishna.
okay, got it.
Here Chitraketu is already connected to Krishna.
Yeah.
Here, Lord Shiva is just trying to
Mm.
explain the situation to
o-
Parvati Devi.
Okay, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Shri Shukovacha
Srishuka Uvacha
iti shrutva bhagavataha
iti shrutva bhagavataha
Shivas Bibhashitam
Shivas api bhashitam
Babhuva Shantadhirajan
Vabhuva Shantadhirajan
Devi Vigata Vismaya.
Devi Vigataha Vismaya.
Sri Sukadev Goswami said, O king, after hearing this speech by her husband, the demigoddess Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva, gave up her astonishment at the behavior of King Chitraketu and became steady in intelligence. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks that the word Shantadhi means Sviya Purva Swabhava Smritya. When Parvati remembered her former behavior in cursing Chitraketu, she became very much ashamed and covered her face with the skirt of her sari, admitting that she was wrong in cursing Chitraketu. So Lord Shiva wanted her to explain the position, wanting her to realize. Otherwise, she would have continued being angry, not understanding what actually happened. So Lord Shiva is explaining the situation to her. And now she's understanding, and so now she is ashamed about it. Iti Bhagavato Devya
Iti Bhagavato Devya
Prati Shaptum Alantama
Prati Shaptum Alantamaha
Murdna Sa Jagre Shapam
Murganaha Sajagrehe Shapam
Etavat Sadhu Lakshanam.
Etavad Sadhu Lakshanam.
The great devotee Chitraketu was so powerful that he was quite competent to curse Mother Parvati in retaliation. But instead of doing so, he very humbly accepted the curse and bowed his head before Lord Shiva and his wife. This is very much to be appreciated as the standard behavior of a Vaishnava. So Sukadev Goswami is telling to Maharaj Parikshit that although Chitraketu was cursed, he had the power to counteract the curse or curse Mother Parvati. Because that means we can see such a great personality because he was seeing Lord Anantadev face to face. So even he has great powers and he could have done so, but he's so humble that he tolerates. So he's being an example how a devotee is always tolerant. Upon being informed by Lord Shiva, Mother Parvati could understand that she was wrong in cursing Chitraketu. King Chitraketu was so exalted in his character that in spite of being wrongly cursed by Parvati, he immediately descended from his airplane and bowed his head before the mother, accepting her curse. This has already been explained. Narayana para, sarvena kotaschana bhibyati. Chitraketu very sportingly felt that since the mother wanted to curse him, he could accept this curse just to please her. This is called sadhu lakshanam, the characteristic of a sadhu or a devotee. As explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Trinad api sunichena, taror api sahishnuna. A devotee should always be very humble and meek and should offer all respect to others, especially to superiors. So Lord Chaitanya, he stressed on this verse, Trinadapi sunichena taror api sahisnuna, that more tolerant than a tree, more humble than a blade of grass, giving all respect to others, not expecting any for oneself. And he said, only in this mood can one constantly chant the holy name. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami says we should tie this mantra around our neck. Never forget it. Always remember it. And act in this way. So being protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a devotee is always powerful. But a devotee does not wish to show his power unnecessarily. However, when a less intelligent person has some power, he wants to use it for sense gratification. This is not the behavior of a devotee. So Prabhupada is explaining, although the devotees have great powers, they can do great things, but they don't show it. They don't need to, you know. One time, when somebody had asked Srila Prabhupada that what was not the word magic. I forget what word was used. That can you do some it was not magic. So Prabhupada said, isn't it wonderful that these people who were before hippies, they were engaged in meat eating and gambling and drinking, and now they become devotees and now they are chanting Hare Krishna. What more wonderful thing you want to see? So devotees have power. Jagye Tvashtur
Krishna,
Dakshinagno.
Hare Krishna Shilpa ji, remember we were talking that who is that other tolerant person that for whom the curse became a boon? Parikshit Maharaj himself. I forgot and then I remembered. I thought like when you're mentioning this, it's coming that how he was also tolerant, how he could have also cursed that uh, Rishi. He could have counteracted his curse that he would die in 7 days, but he did not. He tolerated. So devotees are like that.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, and instead he got to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from Sakadev Goswami himself. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Jagye Tvashtur Dakshinagno.
Jagye tashtau dakshina agnau
Danavim Yonim Ashrita.
danavim yonimashritah
Pitra iti abhivikhyato.
vitra iti abhivikhyato
Jnana Vijnana Samyutaha.
jnana vijnana samyutah.
Being cursed by Mother Durga, Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva, that same Chitraketu accepted birth in a demoniac species of life. Although still fully equipped with transcendental knowledge and practical application of that knowledge in life, he appeared as a demon at the fire sacrifice performed by Twashta, and thus he became famous as Vritrasur. So he not only had knowledge, but he was applying the knowledge, practical application of knowledge, Vigyan. So he had transcendental knowledge, he had Divya Gyan, and he knew how to apply that knowledge. The word yoni is generally understood to mean jati, family, group, or species. Although Vritrasur appeared in a family of demons, it is clearly said that his knowledge of spiritual life still existed. Gyan Vigyan Samyuta, his spiritual knowledge and the practical application of that knowledge in life were not lost. Therefore, it is said that even if a devotee falls down for some reason, he is still not lost. Yatra kwa yatra va vabhadram abhud amushyakim kovartha apto bhajatam swadharmataha. Bhagavatam 1.5.17. So the Bhagavatam is saying Devotional service is never lost. Devotee continues from the same point where he left off in the previous birth. See, as Vritrasur, he didn't have to again try to understand the knowledge, try to, no, he already had the knowledge. He was already living as a devotee. He didn't forget anything. It continued with him. Once one is advanced in devotional service, his spiritual assets are never lost under any circumstances. Whatever spiritual advancement he has achieved continues. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Even if a bhakti yogi falls, he takes birth in a rich family or a family of brahmanas, in which he again starts devotional activities from the point where he left off. Although Vritrasur was known as an asur or demon, he did not lose his consciousness of Krishna or devotional service. Okay. So outwardly he's appearing as a demon, but his consciousness is still, he's Krishna conscious. Etatte sarvam akyatam yanmam tvam pariprachase
Yam yam tam paripratchasi.
vritra vritrasyasur jatescha
Vitrascha asurjateh cha.
karanam bhagavan mate.
Karanam bhagavatmate.
My dear King Parikshit, you inquired from me how Vritrasur, a great devotee, took birth in a demoniac family. Thus, I have tried to explain to you everything about this. Itihasam imam punyam
Itihasam imam punyam.
chitraketur mahatmanah
Chitraketu mahatmanah.
mahatmyam Vishnu bhaktanam
Mahatmyam Vishnu Bhaktanam.
shrutva bandhat vimuchyate.
Shrutva bandhadimuchyate.
Chitraketu was a great devotee, Mahatma. If one hears this history of Chitraketu from a pure devotee, the listener also is freed from the conditional life of material existence. The historical incidents in the Puranas, such as the history of Chitraketu, explained in the Bhagavad Puran, are sometimes misunderstood by outsiders or non devotees. Therefore, Sukadev Goswami advised that the history of Chitraketu be heard from a devotee. Anything about devotional service or the characteristics of the Lord and his devotees must be heard from a devotee, not from a professional reciter. This is advised herein. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's secretary also advised that one learn the history of Srimad Bhagavatam from a devotee. Yaha Bhagavat Pada Vaishnavera Sthani. One should not hear the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam from professional reciters, or they will not be effective. So here, Sukadev Goswami is giving a benediction that hear the story of Chitraketu, who is a Mahatma, great devotee. And if one hears from a pure devotee, then we are hearing, then the listeners also can get liberated just by hearing from a pure devotee. So we are hearing from Srila Prabhupada. It's our great fortune. So, quoting from Padma Puran, Sri Sanatan Goswami has strictly forbidden us to hear about the activities of the Lord and his devotees from the mouths of non devotees. A Vaishnava Mukhod Girnam Bhutam Hari Kathamritam Shravanam Neva Kartavyam Sarpochistam Yathapaya. One should not hear anything about Krishna from a non Vaishnava. Milk touched by the lips of a serpent has poisonous effects. Similarly, talks about Krishna given by a non-Vaishnav are also poisonous. One must be a bona fide devotee and then he can preach and impress devotional service upon his listeners. So Srila Prabhupada is quoting Padma Puran. Padma Puran is saying that Krishna Katha pastimes of Krishna, leelas of Krishna, instructions of Krishna should be heard only from the devotees, not from non-devotees. Otherwise, it will have the opposite, reverse effect. Hearing Krishna Katha, Krishna's instructions, Krishna's leelas helps, if heard from the devotee, it helps us liberate from this material world, go back to the spiritual world. Ya etat pratar uthaya.
Ya etat prata utthaya
Shraddhaya Vagyatha Pathet
Shraddhaya Vakayat Pathet
Itihasam Harim Smritva
Itihasam Harim Smatva
Sayati Paramam Gatim.
Sayati Paramam Gatim.
One who rises from bed early in the morning and recites this history of Chitraketu, controlling his words and mind, and remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will return home, back to Godhead, without difficulty. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 6th canto, 17th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Mother Pārvatī curses Chitraketu. So we can see that by hearing about devotees, we are getting, we can get liberated, we are getting purified, we can go back home, back to Godhead. This kind of result is not there when we are speaking about material people. It's only when we are speaking about the devotees that it purifies our heart, helps us advance in spiritual knowledge, gives us bhakti, love for Krishna. We can go back home, back to Godhead. Comments, questions about this chapter?
So beautiful.
Yeah, it's really good. But I have a not question. Uh, Earlier we read even the devotees, pure devotees, even they did some mistake or some karma which is not really good, but they will not fall down. So because they are very near to Krishna and they are pure devotee, but is it justified or something? I don't know. This is just a question.
Yeah, but first we have to see if a pure devotee, is it really as you say, a mistake or something, or is he being an instrument in the hands of Krishna? Because pure
Hmm.
devotee, he's like, Krishna, I'm yours, you make me act. And he takes directions from Krishna. That's pure devotee. We can't do that because we are not on that level, you know. So we have to understand what is it actually. And Lord Shiva
Hmm.
himself is saying that common people cannot understand the activities of pure devotees.
Hmm.
So is it really a mistake?
Yeah,
Or is it
that's
an arrangement by Krishna? Like, for example, Maharaj Parikshit also putting the snake around the Rishi's neck.
hmm.
He's a pure devotee. But what
Hmm.
happened? Why did he do it? Why? Because Krishna wanted to bring him soon. Come back now. Enough of being on this earth. Come to the spiritual world. Hear Srimad
Yes.
Bhagavatam. So,
Yeah.
in the
Yes.
lives of pure devotees, it's not karma, it's Krishna personally taking charge. Pure devotee has no karma. His karma is already burnt. He's liberated. He's a
Hmm.
Jivan Mukta. So Krishna personally is taking charge there for a pure devotee.
Hmm. But sent to the earth, even they were the pure soul, pure devotees, but once they get the body, in the earth, so it means they have something not very, when you are 100% pure, then only you can go to Godhead, go to Godhead. But there is some partially lifted uh, with their karma, past karma, with some, I don't know how to say, but actually why they get the body, human body, again to the earth, even they
Pure
are very much
devotees,
pure.
pure devotees are coming to save us. They are coming to give us the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. If they didn't come, how would we know? How would we learn? Who
Okay,
will
okay.
teach
Yes,
us? If the
yes, yes.
teacher is writing ABC on the board, it doesn't mean
Uh-huh.
she doesn't know ABC. She is
Uh,
writing so we can learn.
yeah, yes, yes. Yeah, this is really perfect. Yeah, I understood. Like
Mm.
they must give some lesson through their pure devotees about the God, like what is Krishna and
Yes. How will
how.
we learn? Yes.
Yeah, yes, yes,
So
yes.
Krishna sends them. They are on a mission sent by Krishna.
Mhm. Like God messenger, just like God messenger.
Exactly. They are messengers of
Yeah,
God.
the
Yes.
messengers of God. Okay, okay. Yes, yes. Because I was thinking like if even they do very good things, everything was fine. They went to back to Godhead, but again, why they have like take birth in the earth, on the earth?
For
Is
our
there
benefit.
something? Yeah,
For
yeah. I
our
feel
benefit.
yes, yes. Now it's clear. Yeah, it was just a doubt, not a question. Okay,
Okay.
thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Now I
Okay.
understood. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So that brings us to the end of the 17th chapter. We have 5 minutes. I'm not sure if we can read the. Okay, let's try to read the introduction of this 18th chapter. Diti vows to kill King Indra. This chapter gives the history of Diti, the wife of Kashyap, and how she followed a vow to have a son who would kill Indra. It also describes how Indra attempted to foil her plan by cutting to pieces the son within her womb. In relation to Twashta and his descendants, there is a description of the dynasty of the Adityas, son of Aditi, and other demigods. Prishni, the wife of Aditi's fifth son, named Savita, had three daughters, Savitri, Vyariti, and Trayi, and very exalted sons, named Agnihotra, Pashu, Soma, Chaturmasya, and the five Mahayagyas. Siddhi, the wife of Bhaga, had three sons named Mahima, Vibhu, and Prabhu, and she also had one daughter whose name was Ashi. So right now you all must be all confused. What's happening? What's happening? Let's just hear the introduction and then we will hear the text one by one. Data had four wives, Kuhu, Sinivali, Raka, and Anumati, who had four sons named Sayam, Darsha, Prata, and Purnamas, respectively. Kriya, the wife of Vidhata, gave birth to the five Purishyas, who are representatives of five kinds of fire gods. Bhrigu, the mind born son of Brahma, took his birth again from Charshani, the wife of Varuna, and the great sage Valmiki appear from Varuna's semen. Agastya and Vashishta were two sons of Varuna and Mitra. Upon seeing the beauty of Urvashi, Mitra and Varuna discharged semen, which they kept in an earthen pot. From that pot, Agastya and Vashishta appeared. Mitra had a wife named Revati, who gave birth to three sons, Utsarg, Arishta, and Pipala. Aditi had 12 sons, of whom Indra was the 11th. Indra's wife was named Paulomi, Shachi Devi. She gave birth to three sons, Jayanta, Rishabh, and Midhusha. By his own powers, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as Vamandev. From his wife, whose name was Kirti, appeared a son named Bhratshlok. Bhratashloka's first son was known as Saubhaga. This is a description of the sons of Aditi. A description of Aditya Urukram, who is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will be offered in the 8th canto. The demons born of Diti are also described in this chapter. In the dynasty of Diti appear the great saintly devotee Prahlad and also Bali. Prahalad's grandson. Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were the first sons of Diti. Hiranyakashipu and his wife, whose name was Kayadu, had 4 sons: Samhalad, Anhulad, Lad, and Prahalad. They also had 1 daughter, whose name was Simhika. In association with the demon Viprachit, Simhika bore a son named Rahu, whose head was severed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kriti, the wife of Samlad, bore a son named Panchajana. Lad's wife, whose name was Dhamani, gave birth to 2 sons, Vatapi and Ilvala. Ilvala put Vatapi into the form of a ram and gave him to Agastya to eat. Anulad, in the womb of his wife Surya, begot 2 sons named Bashkal and Mahisha. Prahlad's son was known as Virochan, and his grandson was known as Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj had 100 sons, of whom Bana was the eldest. After describing the dynasty of the Adityas and the other demigods, Sukadev Goswami describes Diti's sons, known as the Maruts, and how they were elevated to the position of demigods. Just to help Indra, Lord Vishnu had killed Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Because of this, Diti was very envious, and she was eager to have a son who could kill Indra. By her service, she enchanted Kashyapa Muni in order to beg from him a greater son to do this. In corroboration with the Vedic injunction, Vidhi Vamsam Apikarshati, Kashyap Muni was attracted to his beautiful wife and promised to grant her any request. When, however, she requested a son who would kill Indra, he condemned himself and advised his wife Diti to follow the Vaishnav ritualistic ceremonies to purify herself. When Diti, following the instructions of Kashyap, engaged in devotional service, Indra could understand her purpose and he began observing all her activities. One day, Indra had the opportunity to see her deviating from devotional service. Thus, he entered her womb and cut her son into 49 parts. In this way, the 49 kinds of air, known as the Maruts, appeared. But because Diti had performed the Vaishnav ritualistic ceremonies, all the sons became Vaishnavas. So here we are coming to understand that Diti got upset because to save Indra, Lord Vishnu appeared to kill Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. So she wanted a son who would kill Indra. But somehow Indra is able to kill that, not kill, but he cut the sun in 49 parts who have become the Maruts. So we'll hear more in detail about it tomorrow. We'll stop here for today. So although there are many names, we just hear them. They are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, so they're all great personalities. We may say, oh, what's happening? We may not understand where is the lineage, what's coming, too many names, but we just hear them because they are all great personalities. So Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna.